I'm not gonna lie, the little boops you were doing in there were just like the Halo boops.
I know. I felt inspired.
So, what you been up to, buddy?
Uh, Mostly finishing one of those games you sent me, which is really fun. Playing
Yeah.
trying to get through Dark Souls 2 as much as I can before the DLC of Elden Ring just kind of takes me away from everything for a good bit.
So, do you have that pre-ordered? Like you already have it?
Oh, I already have it. I am waiting
Okay.
on. I am just waiting for the date to change and just start playing.
So what day does that come out again?
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Okay. So, so when I don't hear from you tomorrow, that's why. Uh, so I'm legitimately jealous of all like the Souls like players because not only do y'all get a bunch of cool games I'm just not good enough to play, but like just the idea of this massive DLC coming out tomorrow just sounds like such a fun time.
Uh, Need a look. Uh, I always felt like some games are not for everybody, just like the same way. Like turn-based RPGs. Like other than Pokemon, like I cannot stand playing most of them.
Speaking of turn-based RPGs, there is a it looks turn-based, but there is a game called I think it's called like the 33rd Expedition that got shown off at the Xbox showcase, and I am all aboard on this game.
Hey, that's fair. But like I can't get hyped for those games. Like even though I try, I just can't get through them. Like
So Persona's not.
I went to
Oh,
Persona 4 for a good bit, and I was like, yeah, I can't do this. It's just not my cup of tea. And
oh man,
like,
I can't imagine a world where I can't play Persona.
well, I can't imagine a world where I can play Souls games.
Well, from now on, I'll do the turn-based RPG reviews, and you can have the Souls ones.
I thought we were already doing that, basically.
Yeah, I've there is no release date as far as I know for this 33rd Expedition game, but I've already requested a code.
Sounds good to me. Like that's the best thing you could do.
Uh, so we have got we when we were planning to do this episode, we both had two games to review. But one of my games actually, I'm not going to say the name because I don't know what the logistics are, but they had sent out a copy for review and for whatever they had some stuff on their end they needed to address, so the game has been delayed. So I only have one review. Uh,
Fair,
so
fair.
yeah, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna turn over to you for your first review, which is Deathbound, right?
Yeah, which I got the demo for it. All right. Well, speaking of Souls likes,
Yeah, perfect transition.
yeah, uh, it's a it's honestly very interesting. Like how they changed the formula in a good couple bits. Basically, like from what I understood, uh, basically like you have like this. You start like basically four characters. You have the ability to change between like all between them. Like you're changing forms per se,
Okay.
and each one's like certain specialization. Like you got a tank, you got a rogue, you got a caster, and eventually you get a crusader. Yeah, and then I also found I guess you could what you would call a monk for like for like D&D fans, like to kind of like understand more like the differences.
Mhm.
And yeah, like you play with four, you get to use four characters at a time like you can have on your team, and like how you set them up. Of course, you can like set them up for like different like okay, this one's set to like when I press this button, switch to this one, and so forth, so on. And depending how you set them, like they have like relationships between themselves, and like uh if they like each other or hate each other, like depending on like how you set them up, you get like different bonuses. So that kind of just reminded me of did you play Pokemon XD?
I did, but it's been a very long time.
Okay, I don't know if you remember like to the process you have to do to purify the Shadow Lugia, where like you have to set like the little perfect tempo.
Yeah, the only thing I remember about X, I remember there being Shadow Lugia, but I don't remember anything about it.
Okay, just like the whole thing, like there was a thing in your PC you could like in a PC you could do like where you could set like the Pokemon like if they beat each other like they you can get like a perfect tempo like they purify faster. It just kind of reminded me of that.
Interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, it has a skill tree type level up system. You can get items, consumables, equipables, and yeah. What I found most interesting is that first, your character's stamina is tied to their health pool. Like if you get hit, your maximum stamina for until you heal is just gets lower and lower. So that took me like a little second to understand. Then there's for when you heal, you're basically taking away health from all the other characters. So it's a
Hmm.
nice little balancing act to like keep like whatever character you want healthy, but like don't get don't lose too much health on a character you might need for something else. You there?
So, yeah. I was listening. So, we kind of, I kind of lost what you were saying for just like a second there.
Yeah.
Uh, so I don't know if you've said this already, but do you switch characters on the fly?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's kind of like, didn't Castlevania 3 have a similar system?
Uh yes. I think I would yeah, it's basically like Castlevania 3. Not like I was gonna say, it's more like the Area of Sorrow Soma mode, but I was like, nah, he probably didn't play that, so yeah, Castlevania 3.
So, okay, allegedly it's on my ROG Ally, so I'm gonna get to it eventually.
I mean, you have to beat the game and then like beat an extra story to like to get that.
Oh well, then I'm probably not gonna go back after I beat the game.
That's what I thought.
Yep, not gonna do that. Uh, I am I am only getting the true ending of Alan Wake 2 because the DLC came out and it's making me want to go back and replay the game because you to get the true ending of Alan Wake 2 you had to beat New Game Plus
Yeah,
and it's a short game so it kind of helps.
yeah, I know. Uh, but going back to Deathbound, like other than that, I feel like enemy places can be a little annoying sometimes. Like there's a lot of like little very like tight quarters, so it feels like a lot of like, oh, we're gonna jump you while you're doing something else kind of stuff sometimes. So like, oh, you don't have too much room to swing your sword, so good luck. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's just to like get you to switch to other characters, get you in the idea that you have to start switching characters to do stuff.
Yeah.
But it felt very Dark Souls 2y in the bad sense, because Dark Souls 2
Oh no.
at various points it's very unfair with like how like it puts you to it like sets up little traps for enemies.
It kind of sounds like how it was in I think it was in Ghost of Tsushima. They had like different fighting styles that you had to switch towards to get to like, to fight certain enemies. Is that what it sounds like to you?
I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima, so
Well, luckily for you, it just came out on Steam.
yeah, but I don't have that much money to buy too many new games.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, and I mean it is on my wish list. I do want to play it, but more to the more to the point, it feels like, yeah, like, oh, you're going to like a tight space. Probably use a character with a shorter weapon, but I feel that's kind of invalidating if you're like putting points towards like one of your other characters, like for their for their power ups, so that you can't really use them in all situations.
Yeah. So how long was the demo?
I played 83 minutes of it. I know I was like right next to like the final like the little final boss of that little DLC, but what's it called? But yeah, it's about 80 minutes if you're 80 minutes, 90 minutes if you're exploring everything.
So, do you have the release date for the full game?
Give me 1 second. I'll give you a heads up. And I got distracted for a second because I see Elden Ring updating again.
It's time. It's
It's
time,
time.
Tarnished.
I'm being called to the round table. Okay, it just says 2024.
Okay. So, based off what you played, is this a game that you would want to play when it comes out?
I mean, I'm definitely curious to see like how it'll improve, change, stuff like that. Um, I mean, the controls have been a little awkward, mostly because let's face it, Souls-like tends to have a very similar playstyle, like one to another. So
Yeah.
this one has been like me fighting to like old urges to get into it. I do want to see. I do want to play it. I do want to like see how it goes because I do not think it's gonna. I think it's gonna be good. Uh, and I don't. And I really hope it's not like some of the bad ones, like the ones that like have lost my interest, like in a little bit that I played.
Oh, man. Do you have any other closing thoughts before we move on?
I kind of like want to play it. I want to play. I want to see what like the story is like when I actually like get like when the game comes out and be able to sit down and like play it, like completely through and see what the story is because the way they were doing it is rather interesting. So I have a lot of faith in this game.
All right. That sounds like a good time coming. So, before we get into your second review, I'm going to go ahead and throw my review in here. Uh,
Go for it.
I I absolutely love the marketing they were doing for this game because the guy that gave me the code, I'm pretty sure I don't remember the exact words, so this is a paraphrase, but it said, "Press people. Here's something for all my sick and twisted people." And I was like, "Hey, I'm a sick and twisted people." So I
Yeah,
went and watched
yeah,
the
you are.
trailer, and it's a game called Autopsy Simulator. Uh, so this game has gotten a lot of I get I wouldn't call it controversy because there's a lot of people giving it negative reviews, especially on Steam, because they hear Autopsy Simulator and they went in expecting a full, just a fully a simulator game, which fair.
Yeah, are you there? Okay, I hear you. How dare they? So we're back to the silence. Welcome, dear viewers, listeners, uh, everybody who's been joining here with us. We hope you've been having a great day. It's been a little rainy for both of us. We had a couple storms in each of our ends, so our connections has been a little bit iffy lately. Oh, seems he has left. Let us talk to him, see what he says. You dropped, bro. Now let us hope he can answer soon. Hopefully he comes back and I don't have to talk in this voice anymore. He has returned. I can stop using that boss right now. Oh no.
Hey everybody, Doug here. Now we're gonna go ahead and get Leo back into the call in just a second here. Basically, I got a phone call and the person would not stop calling, so I had no choice but to answer the call, which just completely screwed up everything. So We're getting Leo back into the call here. Let's just. Whoop. Now we should be getting Leo back in here at any moment. So yeah. Anyway, so we should be getting it just a second. All right. Now, while we wait for Leo to come back. Oh, Leo's back.
No, you don't get to wait.
Yeah, we're. I figured out that I just before I had even invited you back to the call, I just started recording again. Uh,
I think that's better. There's no need
yeah.
to have the whole wait.
So anyway, basically, I got a phone call, and I sent the call to voicemail, and the person immediately started calling again. So I knew they were going to keep trying to call unless I answered the phone call.
Was it about your car
And
extended warranty?
no, it was my mom asking if somebody had come by at the office earlier, and they did not.
Oh,
Uh, so yeah, as I was saying, people are expecting a strict, just an autopsy simulator, and this is more along the line. And like it's got simulator elements to it, but it's more of a first-person horror game that's trying to tell a story.
all right.
And so yeah, I mean, while the game is called Autopsy Simulator, if you just like watch the trailer before you buy it, like you should, it'll be fairly obvious that that's what this game is. It's a narrative experience. But if you go to the Steam page now, they do have it advertised that a autopsy simulator mode where it takes a story out is coming. So I'm assuming what that's going to be is like it just gives you a body with like random elements associated to it, and you got to go from there. Uh,
Yeah.
but what the game is now is you play as your character's name is Jack Hanman, and he's basically he's the head pathologist at this little. It's kind of from what I can tell, there's only two people that work in this building. Like they mentioned other people, but ever other saw one. The doorman for this building is the worst doorman I've ever seen. Like he just sits there and like he's like name and like you could choose like I tried to sign in like a good person, but the game didn't let me. But he never once looked away from his newspaper, so people could just come and go apparently. And
Well, yeah, that's what you expect the doorman to do.
watch the door. But he was always like looking at a
I mean,
newspaper.
he's watching it. He's just like, well, what? The door's fine. Who cares?
Yeah, and the extent was the door is still present.
Yeah, it's his job.
So, and speaking of Jack Hanman, the voice actor whose name is, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, is Patrick Langer. And the, Patrick does a fantastic job in this role. The voice acting is very well done. And I don't have a full cast, but all the voice acting in the game is fairly well done as well. And
Nice.
basically, you kind of go through each chapter. I almost said Patrick's Jack's wife. Jack is suffering from losing his wife, but I don't want to say how he loses his wife because, depending on who you're talking to, that might be a story spoiler. But
That's fair.
he's dealing with this loss, and you kind of you see him kind of going about his daily life, and most of that daily life is doing autopsies. And the autopsy gameplay, it's very like the game tells you exactly what you need to do, which is nice. Uh, the game and the way the game tells you what to do is he is doing videos and narrations. I'm pretty sure he says it's he's giving these to different schools for people that want to become pathologists to come in and like watch how an autopsy is performed. And you go through the steps of like looking through the police record to see like what's the name of the person, some facts about them, and just circumstances surrounding their death. And then you basically go through, you examine the body for clues, and then after you have examined everything in the about the external body that you can, you start to open up the body, you know, cutting the skull off to look at the brain,
Yeah.
and just stuff like that. You know, autopsy stuff. Uh, Now, a lot of people are, again, they're angry that the game tells you what to do. I personally enjoyed it because, you know, I wouldn't have known what to do.
Well, you should
Um,
have. That's like a requirement.
yeah, I should have already been a pathologist. Uh,
Obviously, It's required.
I had an oddly good time. Like I didn't think that I was gonna enjoy the autopsy parts of it. Like I thought I was just gonna like I was just in for the ride of, you know, playing a good horror game, but like it was kind of cathartic. Some of the stuff, like it got to the point where I was when you do the last autopsy of the game, I was like, all right, let's cut this lady open, let's do this, and
Hell yeah.
uh, just going through the checklist, and as you go on, you know, more horror elements are starting to kind of layered into uh, you know, the game slowly adds horror elements in. So like you're slowly ratcheting up until you get to this crescendo. And there, I will say, I don't know if there are multiple endings to the game because there are, like, I don't think this is a spoiler. Whenever you leave your apartment, the character says something along the lines of, "Oh, I didn't lock my door," and I didn't know I was supposed to lock the door.
Oh,
And I came back and my apartment got broken into. And,
oh man. Would
and
you not lock your door when you leave your house?
well, I mean, it's a game. You don't really think to lock your door. Uh, so, and it kind of leads to one of the issues I had with the game is like sometimes the decisions that Jack makes don't make any sense. Like when he comes home to find that his apartment got broken into, like very obviously got broken into, and he calls his friend, and his friend is like, "You think you should call the cops?" He's like, "No, I think I'm just gonna go to bed." It's like, who would not call the cops after your apartment gets broken into? Like that'd be step one for me.
Someone who
Uh,
had nothing to lose.
he did have things to lose. He absolutely had. He had valuables in the apartment.
Oh.
Uh, uh,
By the way, Elden Ring DLC's up.
go tarnished. Well, hold on. Go tarnished after the episode's over. Uh, so yeah, so that was just kind of a little negative thing I had to say about it. But other than that, like I don't really have any negative to say. This is a great horror experience. It's well acted, and you know, every I will say that if you are a controller player like myself, you're not gonna want to play controller for this. Like there are like I had actually like when you start the game, it's like deceptively simple. So like I made my own custom controller profile, and then after I made it, I actually saw that somebody had already done that on Steam because you could like go in and like look at the controller profiles that other people have made, and both of the controller profiles just were not up to snuff for what you need for this game. It's
Oh.
yeah, it's there are certain things like sewing up the body. No, not sewing up the body. Making the incisions are just it's a nightmare. And stuff like adjusting the knobs in the microscope, it just doesn't work. Well, it works, but like you're not gonna get to where you need to be easily.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I would say. You know, just kind of be prepared to play this in the mouse and keyboard because otherwise you're gonna struggle. And I mean, other than that, this is a fantastic game. Our written review is available on the WordPress page if you want to go get a more in depth look under the hood. And I'm going to turn it over to you for your next review. But before I do that, what I'm going to go ahead and say is like in the next few minutes or so, I'm going to start going through that one little segment where the signal is not so great.
Oh no.
So yeah, uh, if I drop out of the call, just go into your inner monologue that I know you have.
Of course. I shall.
So what
Alright.
other review you got for us?
Alright. The other the game I played is Echo Generation Midnight Edition. Which going back
which
to
is a stellar name.
it is, and honestly, I love the game. It is like the cutest fucking like throwback to like I want to say like 80s B movies. But
Well, yeah,
yeah,
it gave like the second I saw the name and then watched the trailer, it gave Saturday morning cartoon vibes.
yeah, it's a well going back to like games that you don't usually get into. It's a turn-based RPG, but
Yeah.
what set this apart for like other games is that it's not that long. It took me 9 hours to beat the game. Well, 8 hours, and then I've been looking around for one achievement, but details.
Well, yeah. Whenever you just said it's not that long, uh, I remember you had messaged me like fairly quickly saying that you beat the game, but I didn't know what that meant because you beat like 9 Castlevania games in 2 days.
But yeah, no, this is like I went through like the whole story and like I missed like one achievement.
Oh, that's
But
the worst.
I don't mind. Like I said, it's a very fairly short game. It's turn-based RPG. Like you play these two sisters that are looking for their dad, and it has like such a nice, delicious mix of like aliens, like secret service stuff, um, monsters, ghosts, and it just oh yeah, and robots. It's
Of
just
course.
it was so good. It's like I said, it just kind of threw me back to like the 80s B movies, like the cheap, like bad horror movies we used to watch.
I don't know what you're talking about. Every horror movie we watched in the Quincy was a banger,
Yeah,
a
they were, but
masterpiece of cinema.
there's a certain quality to them.
Yeah,
You gotta
Velocipaster
admit,
has
there's a
never
certain
been
quality
me.
to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh man. But yeah, you play as two girls. You also can get one companion, which like sadly I can't pet him, but you can give the dog a bone.
Knick knack paddywhack.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you can get like I'm just gonna like give the like the three obvious ones that got shown up because I didn't look too much into like what's been seen for like the other characters, but yeah, you can get a doggo, a cat, or a little robot, and then
Okay,
there's two other extra companions you can get that like I'd rather just let you find them on your own.
that's
But
fair. I
yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah, like the little companions usually have like one main attacking move, but then like some support moves,
Hmm.
which is really nice because like you get like a nice little variety of stuff. The way like the combat works is like every attack has like a little mini game attached to it. Like for example, like the main attack for all characters is just like stop the circle while it's in a certain area. When it's like filled up in a certain area, and it's like really easy. Like literally, like as soon as the circle pops up, just press A and whatever. Then then it gets like more complex. Like there was one attack where it's like, oh, you have to wait for like three lights to turn green. And you have to like then you have to like press a button, and then it just gets some like get really complex. Some are really easy, but it's like the little thing to like always keep you like interested in what you're doing and not just pressing A
But that's my
because
favorite.
it does affect the damage and this like yeah I know it does affect like the like how much damage you do and that the effects of the different attacks go off.
Well, that's
And yeah, it's like a really silly cast of like characters. There's a but there's a lot of like there's a lot of like this like oh this all this weird shit happened just normal Tuesday.
yeah. I always love that in games.
Yeah, like are you getting in
Yeah,
trouble? Nah, we're not.
yeah. It's like the
That
even
right
within
after
paradox.
yeah, it's kind of like I just went through like a whole garment facility. Are you getting in trouble? No.
Like Butters from South Park. I'm gonna get grounded.
Oh man, but like it's really fun. It's really cute, and you can do so much in the game.
So, what's the release date on this? Is it out or is it coming out in like a
It actually came out
soon? Or?
yesterday.
I'm gonna have to look into that because it sounds like it's gonna be perfectly up my alley.
It is like it's not too difficult.
Even
I never
better.
I never grinded, which is like one of those things like you do like and as you since I play Pokemon so much and I usually just play Nuzlocke, I'm used to having to grind Pokemon to like higher levels, but like no, I just kind of almost naturally like gained like the same amount of levels. Like every so often, I was like, oh, I'm like one or two fights away from like leveling up. I might as well fight a guy or two, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, story's really cute. Combat is awesome. Like you fight some awesome shit, and you're like, holy fuck. The art style did take me a little bit of getting used to since how would you describe? I don't know how to describe the art style. It's just like pixelated blocks. I don't know.
Like what? Like Roblox?
No, it's like way more like I don't know how else to describe it, but like it's like the art styles like everything's made out of like little blocks, but detailed enough to like you can see you can see like shapes, faces, everything like, and you can like see who is who, and like if you see like a silhouette, you wouldn't be confusing one character for another. So it's like it's very specific kind of like look, but it's really well made.
Yeah, I'm
Like
I'm actually getting to red lights. I'm about to look this up real quick on
yeah,
Steam.
and yeah, it's so funny. The humor is so good. Like certain parts, you fight so much stupid shit. Like you get like so many stupid comments from some of the stuff you do.
Let's see.
Let's give him a
Echo
second to see.
Generation Midnight
Look it up.
Edition. The game is currently $22.49 if you're really interested, which is 10% down from its usual $24.99 asking price. Oh yeah, this is awesome.
It is.
Oh yeah, I'm 100% in. This is going on my wish list.
It's worth it, dude. It's a nice like I said. It's not too long an RPG. It's a really fun experience, and honestly, it's like I just had a blast doing it. Like it's been a while since I had like fun with like a little experience like that. It just kind of reminded me of like remember when we went through Welcome to Kowloon and we were like, this is a nice little bite-sized experience. We don't have to like grind into this, you know.
Yeah, I wonder how that developer's doing. I wonder if he's done anything else since then.
I'll look it up for you if you want.
Go for it.
But well, I'll do that. Yeah, no, it's worse. This is what's the worst the game. It was very fun to play. It's I love games like that. I don't know, like I know like I'm not getting like thoughts straight, but it's one of those things where like I had fun, I enjoyed it. I don't know how to like phrase it more without trying to oversell it, but like badly, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would love to see more games from these developers because it was a fun experience.
Yeah.
And
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
go ahead, you go ahead.
I was about to say, like, especially in like today's gaming world, where like every game comes out and it's like a massive open world experience. It's gonna take you 5,000 hours to get through. It's nice to have shorter games,
It is,
especially when the price point matches, which in this case it does.
yeah. And I was gonna say like the game reminded like the one game I thought of like as I started like getting more into the game was Earthbound. I never played Earthbound, but like from all I've seen, it just kind of reminded me of like that like kind of like walkie kind of humor.
Yeah, Earthbound is like one of those like gaming gray areas for me, where it's not gray area, a blind spot, where everybody's always talking about like, and it's available. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's on Switch Online. So like, I don't have like even before I allegedly had EmuDeck and stuff like that. Like it's been available for me to play. I had it on the 3DS as well. I just never like I never. I think it's just because it's an older game. It's harder to sit down and play that.
Yeah, it happens.
And like the thing with older games, if you didn't play them when they were new, it's hard to go back to them.
Oh yeah, it can be really annoying to get back into them,
But
especially since you get as you get used to like certain like innovations.
yeah, like
Okay.
I mean, if I hadn't played Halo 1 when it came out, I don't think I would be able to play Halo 1 now like I do.
Like in a connection from to something like we talked to Death about Resident Evil.
Yeah, that's another one.
Since I never got used to tank controls, it hurts me to go back to the original ones.
Oh, trust me, I went through a lot of pain on the Resident Evil 1 review,
Yeah, I can imagine.
especially when I played the masterpiece of Resident Evil Dead Aim and
Oh, you
Survivor.
talk about best game ever for all
Yeah,
times.
that's why I ranked it over Resident Evil 4 remake.
Obviously.
That'll have people going back to look at the rankings. Our
Well,
top five.
Remus is best Code Veronica villain.
Oh yeah, Nemesis. That's like one of those things. Like to this day, if I were to be on a game show and they'd be like, "What's the secret villain in Resident Evil Survivor 2?" I would never have said
Oh,
Nemesis.
oh shit. Sorry.
What?
Testing out Elden Ring DLC. I got just obliterated.
Oh, you started the game?
I'm looking around, like not trying not to do too much combat. Looking around.
Oh, there's a rainbow right now.
Oh, that's cute.
Uh, yeah, I would 100% join you, but I actually just started Control again for like I've never beaten Control. I just try Control a bunch of like I've started Control a lot, but for whatever reason, like it's never stuck with me, and I'm hoping this is the time that it does.
I hope so too, man. I think you'll enjoy it.
Like everybody always like I think what the problem with me and Control is that the game is like such a weird like it has a weird start where like you don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, it is very specific about how it starts.
But something that has always been a constant in all these starts is Ati is a gym.
What?
Ati, the janitor.
Oh, yeah. No, a good pal right there.
Steam could sell a movie where it's just like an hour long of Ati just saying random things, and I'd buy it.
Yeah, I would too, I think.
Well, yeah. So that was three reviews, and I actually, since we have time, uh, I'm gonna give a preview of a game called Southfield.
Before you do that,
Uh,
can I just give you a heads up about one thing?
Go ahead.
Yeah, our friend from Welcome to Kowloon has made two games that are released this year.
Oh, we're gonna look into that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so Southfield is a physics-based farming sim, I guess is what you would call it. And basically, you're this little blob guy, and you go through like you can kind of like you can run around like other games in this genre, but again, you're a little blob guy, so you can ragdoll yourself and roll into a ball and like roll around. Uh, the game plays like every other way. The game is like pretty standard. Like you go around, you gather materials to craft things that'll help you uh, build tools to cultivate your crops. The one thing that kind of was different is that it tries to put in automation,
yeah.
uh, kind of like Omega Crafters, which is a game we tried out. Uh, you can like set up conveyor belts, and you can throw things on the conveyor belt that like it takes it off to wherever you want it to go, and you can change the direction and the speed of the conveyor belts, which is pretty nice. I really like that. And you can use that to like I could place like conveyor belts by my where I've got my crops,
Yeah.
and the end of the conveyor belt could be the sell box. So like as I'm picking the crops, I can kind of just throw it onto the belt and have it take it directly get sold. Uh, like I said, this is just a preview, so we didn't get to see that much of the game. But what I was able to play there were a lot of technical issues. But again, this is it was a preview, so uh, most of the issues were things like the conveyor belt. Like I'd put things on the conveyor belt, and it would launch over to the cell box and not make it. So I had to go pick up everything that I put on the conveyor belt and manually put it in the box.
Yeah.
Uh, Other things were just like the game would like whenever I would go to close the game, it wouldn't let me close it. Like I had to go into the task manager and like manually shut it down that way. So nothing, too severe. It was just more of a hindrance than anything else. Uh, but yeah, I mean, this is a game that's got potential. It plays great on a controller, which is a big plus for me. And whenever this game gets a release date, I think it comes out this year. I'm not sure. I have to reach out to the developer to see if they've got any kind of release date. But yeah,
That's
it's go ahead.
no. It sounds like a good game. Like the way you described it remind me of Factorio or Satisfactory, which are games like I played a lot with a friend.
Yeah, with a little bit of polish, this game can be fantastic. It just needs some more time and for them to fix all
Oh,
these
there we
these.
go. There's a sore
these
spot where we can't hear you.
Actually, you want to know something funny? We got through that sore spot without any issues.
Well, we're gonna have to get through one at least with some issues.
Yeah. So keep a lookout for Southfield. It's coming out. Well, I don't know. It's coming out eventually.
Someday.
And with that, we're gonna go ahead and close out this episode because I don't want to jinx this anymore. Uh, so Leo's gonna go off and play Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erdtree, and I'm gonna get his thoughts because I probably never will. Uh,
Oh, you gotta have more faith.
I'll try Elden Ring one more time
You gotta
eventually.
remember, Souls games you only lose once you give up.
Oh, I lose a lot then. Uh, Thanks for joining me, buddy,
Oh, thanks
and
for
thanks
having
for
me, dude.
listening, guys.
Thanks everybody. Be seeing you.